Welcome in, my friends. I've been asked several times in the comments of other videos to do a World Cup video and provide my thoughts. And I'm like, me? You want me to do that? I don't know why. I'm just a regular guy. But, you know, it's World Cup time, seemed appropriate. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we get started, two things to cover with you. I want to say a massive shout out to, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Gerardo Chavaria, who has joined my Patreon today. We're up to 19 people supporting the channel, up to a whopping $87 a month after all the fees from Patreon. So it's more than that. It's probably close to $100 a month now. Massive support. Like I've been blown away. We've essentially added 4 different patrons this month, and I'm recording this on the 13th, the day before the World Cup starts. And it's been a massive jump. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you, Gerardo, for joining the Patreon, and all you guys. Like, there have been some people that have supported me since November of 2017 when I first started the Patreon. So you guys still count too. I don't give you shout outs every video. So anyway, thanks for that. So if you're interested in supporting content the gray hair way, check out the link below, and it's a link to the Patreon page. It explains what Patreon is, all that kind of stuff. All right, now that that's out of the way, speaking of links in the description, this is your last and final chance to get into the Gray Hair Gaming Community FIFA Prediction League thing online. You need to get your picks in as soon as possible. That's why I'm actually releasing this video much earlier than I normally do in a day, so that hopefully you're seeing it earlier and it's buying you enough time to log in, create an account, blah, 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 blah. All you have to do is have an email address and a password, and it'll send you an email, and you confirm the code, and then you've created your account. But you got to get your picks in, because you have to set the picks for each match day. But a match day is all of the first games in a round, right? So like all of the first games in every group counts as a match day. At least that's my understanding of how this is played. We'll find out. So it's not just that you can like pick today, you know, the Russia-Saudi Arabia game. You have to pick for all of the first games in every group. Get your predictions in. The other thing, and I didn't mention this in the video, which you can see popping up here, and where I walk through, hey, here's what the FIFA prediction game thing looks like, is one game in each match day. And again, that's all the games played at one point over several days, right? There's like a jester hat under the score box where you put in the prediction score, and you can double your points on that match. So like if you're really confident in that one, or you're taking a wild hair on a match, you know, you think that Saudi Arabia is going to beat Uruguay 10-0, right? You can double your points on that game. But it's like a weird jester hat. I don't really know. I guess because it's a gamble. But I think that's kind of weird that it's a jester hat. And it's not very clearly laid out. You have to look at the how to play and all that kind of stuff. The reason I found it was like, oh, there's a jester hat. Wonder what that does. And then you click on it and it tells you, which is a weird thing to do. So you got to get that in as well before the Russia-Saudi Arabia game starts. So if you're seeing this after that started, I think you might not be able to do the whole first round, or maybe just for that match. So either way, sign up. The link is in the description. It'll take you straight to the league that I formed in on the official FIFA website. So check that out. And then we created a new channel in the Discord server where we can discuss stuff like that. That also has pictures of hey, here's what this jester hat thing looks like, and here's how you use it and all that kind of stuff. So that's in the Discord. Make sure you join. Lots of good chatter going on about the World Cup. Now, speaking of the World Cup, let's get to it. First, I'm not going to give like group by group predictions because I'm not qualified to do that. I've not watched, you know, all 32 teams multiple times to be able to make a solid prediction. I've listened to the Total Soccer Show because they've done like probably an hour to 2 hours on each group, which has been useful, but I've listened to it over the last like week, and so I don't remember everything, and it kind of starts to kind of blend together a little bit. So I'm not going to do like in Group A, I think this team's going to win, this team's going to be runner-up, and these are going to be the results. I'm not going to do that. But I just want to highlight some things that I think are interesting, and maybe some things to watch for, things that I'm hoping for, and all that kind of stuff. Also, I don't want to give away my group predictions because that would help you guys out in the FIFA Prediction Game. So, slow your roll there. Group A. I'm a little worried that Russia hasn't played a competitive game in a long time because they've had automatic qualification. So I think that's going to be interesting to see. Is like, has it been good because now they're well rested, or have they not been able to gel as a group because they haven't had to like grind their way through a qualification scenario? The other thing is, I really want Mo Salah to play and do well because my son loves Mo Salah. That's why. I like Mo Salah. Like, I think he's a good guy. I was really devastated when he went out in the Champions League final. But it's more for, my son really likes him. That's just something I'm looking for, right? Group B. I don't know if you heard this. I woke up this morning to the news that Spain had fired their coach 2 days before the World Cup starts. And I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought it was a meme or something, or like a really bad joke. And then like it kept getting shared, and I'm like, no, that can't be right. Then once I realized it was actually happening, I thought, is this a planned thing? Like, that they knew all along that he was going to go to Real Madrid, that they were going to fire him in dramatic fashion to galvanize the team. It's us versus the world, something like that. And then I thought, well, that's a really risky strategy. So I have no idea what to make of Spain. You know, like it's one of those things that the players are still the same. But there has been some talk about how the Real Madrid players wanted him to stay, and they were like fighting with the FA about it. You got to wonder if there's some dissension in the squad, if they're unhappy, if now they're not as motivated. I mean, you got to think they're motivated. I think Spain does one of two things. I don't think there's going to be gray. I think they either make a heck of a run or they don't get out of the group. Like, I just don't know what to make of. Like, I'm just trying to imagine what I would be feeling if the US 1 were in the World Cup. 2, if we fired our coach 2 days before the World Cup. Like, talk about mass panic and hysteria. No idea what to expect there. So I think that is a fascinating thing to watch, to see how they perform. Like, will they come out guns blazing and, you know, go take the game to every single team in their group and, you know, be undefeated? Or will it kind of be like, oh no, okay, mentally, are they like, if they get off to a shaky start, or, you know, they don't win that first game, or if it's a ugly draw or something like that, what's that going to do to them mentally? I'd love to know your thoughts on this, because I was just kind of like, I literally thought it was a joke. I think Morocco is an interesting team. I think a lot of the previews you're going to see, you're saying that, you know, the small teams in general are going to play more defensive. I don't think Morocco does that. I think that's lazy analysis. Group C, I'm hoping Tim Cahill scores for Australia. I don't think this is giving away any prediction points in the fantasy league. Australia's not very good, right? Like, they're not very good. But Tim Cahill's 38. This is his 4th World Cup. He is the Australian DeMarcus Beasley, and if he scores, I think he'll be one of 4 players to have scored in 4 different World Cups, and like one of the other players is Pele. Not bad company. And the other thing is, I'm interested or curious about France, because the U.S. men's team youngsters lost to Ireland 2-1, and then drew against a full-strength Les Bleus squad. Like, full strength. Like, they didn't play like their youngsters. It was their last tune-up game, and it was a 1-1 draw. And our goalkeeper made some amazing saves, but you're like, it's France. They're like top 5 in the world, right? Something like that, like, or top 7. They should have beat the youngsters from the U.S. team. So it has you wondering, like, is that how is that going to affect them, right? Is it going to be like, okay, let's go freaking show people we're better than that? Or is it, it's a little shaky behind the scenes? I don't know. I think that's interesting. Group D, can Messi get a World Cup title? I don't think, just based on how the groups are set up, I don't think so, but that's just me. Let's see. Group E. I think Switzerland is potentially better than people think. They lost 1 game in qualification for the World Cup, and that one loss was to Portugal, and they played them twice. So that means they beat Portugal once, and they lost to them once. And the only reason Portugal got the higher, like the higher seeding in the World Cup was because of goal differential. Like they had the exact same points. So both Portugal and Switzerland had 9 wins and 1 loss to each other. Just Portugal did it with, more style, with more goals, with the goal differential. Now, to be fair, the other teams were Hungary, the Faroe Islands, Latvia, and Andorra. So it's not like they were playing all the teams that are in the World Cup, but they still did the same that Portugal does, right? So, or did. Just Portugal had more goals or a better goal differential. So I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting to see if Switzerland can hold up to that. I think they've got Serbia in that group. I don't have the groups pulled up in front of me right now. I think Brazil is going to be quite good. Germany, I think Group F. I don't think it's close, but I am inspired by the German Revolution, right? The Das Reboot of German football, and how it just seems like it's like rows and rows upon robots attacking you, or zombies, and you take out the first row, and like more robots come right behind them and start marching at you. Like I feel like you can plug and play most of the players on that team, and then the B team, and then maybe the C team, and it's just like they're really good. So I think that's interesting. Group G with Panama, probably one of the worst teams in the World Cup, right? Like in comparison from a skill standpoint. Sorry if you're a Panama fan. I'm very curious if CONCACAFing works in a World Cup with VAR. If you don't know what CONCACAFing is, it's essentially, oh no, the wind blew me down and my knees hurt, so I'm going to lay down. Or Blas Perez likes to like tackle you really hard. He's like, I think one of their strikers or attacking midfielders, maybe. I think he's a striker. He'll foul you and then act like you fouled him, and like it's a grave injustice that he's getting a yellow card or something like that. So I'm just curious if that works, if that strategy pays off in the World Cup when you've got VAR. And then Group H, I think Group H is probably the most interesting group because I don't see a like heads and shoulders above favorite. I think if you look at the odds, Colombia is favored, but it's not like Colombia is favored so much that none of the other teams have a chance, right? Versus like a Brazil or a Germany, it's like they're probably winning their group, right? And I don't think I'm shocking anybody by saying that, so I'm not giving away prediction points. But Group H, it's not that way. Colombia is favored, but it's not that high. So I think that's potentially the most interesting group in terms of like who's going to make it out of the group, like versus who's fighting for second place. So that's what I think. I'm excited for the World Cup. Obviously, I'm I'm quite sad that the U.S. isn't there, but we've kind of had time to deal with that now, haven't we? I hope it's a safe World Cup. There's a lot of things wrong in the world, and the thing I love about football or soccer, depending on what country you live in, is that it really is the world's game. And even if you didn't speak the same language as somebody, if you were sitting in a bar watching a game, it's like we're having some conversation, right? Like you can communicate about what's going on. And I just don't get the, sometimes there's like this animosity about, well, we don't like that country. Like, you can not like them, but like I don't believe actively hating any country is a good idea. It just seems like a bad idea. And people are, I know, because I've gotten so many comments on that Jonathan Gonzalez video I did. It's up to like 11,000 views right now. And a lot of the comments were like, lol, 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 USA, you suck, like whatever. But some of them are like, America hates foreigners. And it's like, no, like that's not true. Just like, well, I don't know if I want to go down that path, but like, just like it's true that like Russia doesn't hate all English fans, right? It's not the majority of people in Russia that are, threatening to attack England fans, right? Like that's just not true. It may be a minority. Now, when I say a minority, I don't mean like 1%. It could be 30%. It could be 20%. It could be whatever. I just don't think, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, so this, maybe I should just cut this part out. I don't know if I'm going to, but I like seeing the world come together, even with FIFA, with all of its corruption and problems, and it's all about money and all that kind of stuff. I like seeing the world come together and just like, let's play it out on the pitch. And I think it's really interesting. It's a way to teach. Like I'm teaching my 4-year-old about the world as we go through the games. Like, he likes Egypt right now, 1, because they have Mo Salah, and 2, because they wear red like Liverpool. You know, but we get to talk about, where is Egypt? What's the geography of Egypt look like? Like, what's the country look like? Right? So that type of thing, it can definitely open up the eyes of especially kids. But like, it's not just my community or my city or my family. Like, there's this whole big world out there, and the teams that are in the World Cup are from all over the world, and that makes it really interesting. So I hope it's safe. I hope there's not any like fan chaos. I hope there's some good games and it's not any blowouts. But yeah, that's really all that I have in terms of like, this is my thoughts on the World Cup. I'll try and do videos every so often, as much as I can, about the World Cup, with, you know, maybe we'll do like a, you know, the weekend review or something like that. But again, if I'm not watching every game in high detail and taking notes, I kind of feel like that's a little disingenuous, and I don't know how much value I'm going to provide with that. So let me know your thoughts on this. Again, this is a bit of a ramble. It's up to 15 minutes now, or something like that. I may have paused to edit and cut, but anyway, quite a long video, longer than I was expecting. Let me know your thoughts about what you think is going to happen in the groups. And again, if you're seeing this right now, you need to stop what you're doing and go join that FIFA league below and make your predictions, because you only have so much time. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.